Okay, let's start. Okay, what we went through is we started with Python data structure, and data structure is useful for collection of object. हम object collects करते हैं. Okay, so when we say collection of object, we started with list. List is a ordered data structure. That means it has what indexes. So these indexes are helping you to get the access to the element, correct, to add the elements into it, remove the elements from it, correct. So this list is basically ordered and indexed. Now list is being used for most common purpose. If you are confused about something, okay, अगर आपको clear नहीं है, if you don't have clarity like what exactly should be used, use list. Okay, it's that straightforward. Use list if you do not have an idea what type of collection you should use. Good with that. Now the next one is set. Set is particularly for when you do not need order, you don't bother about order, okay, and you do not need duplicates. You do not need duplicates. For example, let's say I'm collecting all the pin codes of India, or in Maharashtra, or in Tamil Nadu. I'm collecting those, so I definitely do not need duplicates, correct. Do I need them in order? No, not needed, correct. It's not needed to be in order, but yes, I do not need duplicates for sure. Correct. So such kind of data where order is not important, but no duplicacy is very important. Okay. So that kind of the uniqueness is very important. Like I'm getting the records of all the employees of a company and I'm processing their promotions. So if there are duplicates, one employee will get double promotion. Yes. So we don't want that. Correct. So I need uniqueness in certain scenario. Will with this. So in those type of things, you will use what? Set. So set are particularly different than list. List में क्या था? We used to get access to the elements, okay, with the help of index. So you always get a correct order. So if I'm printing a list, it will always be printed in the same order. Set though is not ordered at all. Good with that? So let's try to understand how set works. I already give you some practical examples like getting an employees, getting items, okay, items from a store maybe, or shopping cart maybe, or wherever you go, like your account numbers in your bank, okay, your pharmacy, whichever application, wherever you need uniqueness, you use set. Okay, so start with this. The first property is sets are written in curly brackets. Sets are written in curly brackets. So let's start with sample set. Here we go. And I'm creating a sample set for you. Sample set for this example, curly braces. I'm adding some fruits into it. So let's say I'm adding apple and I'm adding grapes again, just like yesterday. And then I'm adding bananas. Okay. Now this is a simple set. Simple set. Now, how do I add an element into it? So you can add additional element into a set with the help of sample set dot add. Okay, and let's print them. Sample set, and let's see how it goes. So right click, run, and you will get grapes, apple, mangoes, and bananas. Now, what is this order? I started with apple, then grapes, then bananas, and after that I added mangoes. And see the order here: grapes, apple, mango, bananas. I might not get the same order again. Okay, it's completely up to like how it is stored in memory and how it is fetched. So कोई order जरूरत भी नहीं है, and then it will not look at it at all in the order at all. Okay, another thing is in duplicacy. Can I add duplicate elements? I tried that in list, right? In list we added Canberry twice, strawberry twice, and it worked. So here I'm trying mango twice. Will it work? Let's see that. It's not working. I got mango though, but mango is only once. So how many times like no matter how many times I add that, it doesn't matter. It will not add it because there is a condition of what? Duplicates. So sets respect uniqueness. Set respects uniqueness. Very important. Okay. Then go ahead. Let's do removal first. So now let's remove the element. Okay, so we saw addition of element. Now we'll see removal of element. So let's remove, and remove will be done by remove. and it's a sample set dot remove, and you can specify like if you want to remove let's say mango, and what will happen? Obviously, it will be removed. So see this, it's gone. There is one more sample set dot discard. So what is the difference between discard and remove? I'll tell you that. I'll show you that. So first I will execute both and then I'll tell you the difference. Okay. So now you have remove method and discard method. So remove method is removing mango, discard method removing apple. Okay, both of them exist in the set. That's why they got removed. Now let's add something here which is interesting. Okay, so I'm saying that remove, add something like okay, which was the fruit yesterday? Oranges. So remove oranges. Now as of now, you know that there are no oranges in the set at all. Okay, and discard oranges. This is interesting. So what will happen? So first, at least as of now, first discard oranges only and enter this. See this what happens. You got key error. So remove gives error if the element doesn't exist. Okay. So gives error if key or that particular value doesn't exist in set. Okay. And then the next one, let's try. So let me put apple here and let's try oranges in discard. In discard. So now run this. So discard doesn't matter. Okay, so discard just ignore. Okay, you did not get any error now. Correct? So discard ignores if there is no or if he is not present. So regardless, so if you are not sure that particular element is existing that particular set or not, then use discard. If you are very sure, then you can use remove. But how can you make sure though? So you can definitely use our in function, right? So if you are still if you want to still use remove, then use in function. Who stops you? So if you can definitely say apple will remove. So mango in sample set, right? You can do that and print that mango is present. This function doesn't change. Okay, you can also do not in. So if apple not in sample set, and then you print apple is not present. Simple as that. You do that, and you do this. Apple is present, and apple is not present. Mango is present. You can also loop through it just like what we did in yesterday. So each item or each fruit in sample set. Actually, I should not take this. You know this stuff already. Each item. Not it because we are not doing anything new. It's exactly the same what we did in yesterday, what we learned in loops. It's exactly the same. There's no difference. We'll do that. So now go ahead and run this. It's going to execute the loop. Okay. So what are the things you learned? You adding the element, removing the element. The important thing is one more thing. So let's say I have one more set samples. I'll add it here. I have one more set here. Let's say veggies. Okay, so let's do that. So veggies and add one more set. Let's say potato and then tomatoes. Okay, whatever you like. It doesn't matter. That's enough. So let's say these two elements are different set, and I want to add these elements into this particular set. Can you do that? You know that how can you add a single element that you know. So one option you have is iterate through these veggies, get each item through it and then add it. Otherwise, you can do one more thing. What you can do, sample set dot update and add veggies, and then print it. And even if you are adding one set into another, it will always check what duplicacy. So now let's say I have grapes to be added here as well. So grapes are here also, and then I'm still adding it. So we see there are grape, tomato, potato, all those things are there. Now I'm adding update veggies, and veggies also have grapes. So let's see if we get grapes 2 times. It won't. It will only add once. So it will make sure. So when you are updating it, Even in that, it will make sure that there are no duplicates in any of the sets. That is update for you. So update is used for adding all the elements of one set into another. Will be that. And the last function is clear function. So clear meaning you're gonna clear all the values from this particular set. So now the set will be empty. So if I just run this, empty set. It's nothing in there, nothing for you. And if you want to delete that entire object, you can do that with the help of del function. Del will remove entire object and there will not be any object exists for that name at all. So object itself will be gone. See this, and name error sample set not defined. Okay, it's gone, it's deleted. That is del function. Del is little harsh, so try not to use that. But did we cover everything? So let's see that. Oh, length is pending. So let's take a length function also. So when we added all these elements, let's take the length after this. So print sample set and print use len function. Remember that the len function is a Python function. Len function is a Python function. So let's do this. So you get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you got 5 elements here. Cool. So let's pause for a while. Take a look at this and let me know if you don't understand anything or if you want me to repeat anything. Okay, post your questions. Take a look at it, read through it. Make sure you understand everything. This is very important. I'll take 30 seconds. Okay, so let's go next. Let's take the next topic. So next topic is tuple. Tuple is very important. Okay, so it's kind of a different object. It does actually it doesn't be it cannot be used in what I can say all the programming languages. I see it in very rare programming languages like Python. So can we okay? There is a question. Can we use integer? It can be any data, Snail. It doesn't matter. Okay, data it doesn't matter. You can use strings, integers, floats. Okay, still you don't allow duplicates. Okay, awesome. So tuple is very unique object. It's unchangeable. It's unchangeable. So I'll tell you an example of that. So again, I'm going back to the pin code example. So you're fetching the pin codes from the database, let's say, and you are holding it in the memory, holding in memory. Do you really want to change pin codes? No, right? It actually doesn't make any sense to change. Pin code doesn't change that often, correct? Name of the cities. You picked up all the name of the cities. Do you change that name of the cities often? No, right? So the some data is actually called as OTO data, one time only data or cache data. You can cache it in a memory for a while, okay, for execution. So such data can be kept in tuple. So tuple is unchangeable. You cannot do anything. You cannot add a new element to it. You cannot remove any element from it. Okay, so once tuple is created, it's done. You cannot change anything to it. Okay, methods, so parameter of a method. Okay, we'll see methods now. Okay, that's something we're gonna learn today. So all those things which cannot actually tolerate any change. Okay, no removal, no addition are called as tuple. So they're pretty simple to understand because you cannot do anything anyway. But it does give you ordered mechanism. That means you will be able to access them. Okay, so they are ordered, and I mean they are indexed basically. Indexed but unchangeable. You cannot change it. With that, so let's take tuples. So tuples are written with the round brackets. Tuples are written with the round brackets. So let me open this, and the first statement is this. Tuples are written in round brackets. So let's take the same example. I'll grab this, and instead of saying it as a set, I will change it to tuple. But just by changing the name, it won't make a tuple. For making a tuple, I have to make it as a round brackets. That's it. And once it is made forever. Okay, so oranges, let's say, and done. So these four values, I cannot have an additional value into tuple. There is no add method, there is no remove method, nothing. And even if you try, so let's say sample tuple dot, you say add method, and you add, let's say, mangoes, okay, and try and print new tuple, sample tuple, and you run this. Sorry about that. And you run this, you'll get an error. Tuple object has no attribute add. There is no addition at all. You cannot add anything. You cannot insert anything. So tuple are unchangeable. So what are the things you can do? You can access the elements. Yes, you can do that. So definitely. So let's do that. Let's access the elements. So sample tuple, you can print entire tuple here, and you can just say sample tuple. Let's add the index value. No issues with that. So run this. You can see apple. You can see entire tuple. But its index access is available. You can iterate through it, yes. So you can definitely say each item in sample tuple print. Whatever operation you want to do, you can do. That's iteration. You can check if condition, no issues with that. So let's say you want to check if apple in sample tuple. That works, and not in also works. Obviously, I will not take that example. Apple is present. Cool. So iteration works, if works, okay, but if you want to try to delete something, or if you just give value to something, let's say sample tuple 0 equals mangoes, that doesn't work. Tuple does not support assignment. You cannot it doesn't support assignment to do that, so that's not possible. Cool. Can you delete it? Can you remove function? So let's say sample tuple dot remove and use apple. It's gonna give you an error. Okay, tuple has no attribute called remove. So these are not available. This functionality itself is not available. It's one time only. The tuple once made, it's made and it's done. Okay, so what you can do is access the elements, iterate the elements, and check if it is there or not. That's it. Okay, you can do only one operation, that is delete an entire tuple with del function. Okay, that is possible. So del, and you will delete everything, although it's a little harsh again. Yeah, you can do also one more thing is you can check the size of tuple. That is fine. So you can use len function to get the size of it. Sample tuple, that works. That works. No problem with that. Cool with that? So tuples written in round brackets, access the element, you can do that. Iterate through it, check an existence, check the length. You cannot add, remove, delete element from tuple. You can delete entire tuple for sure with the help of del function. Okay. Now there is a question for you. Can you think of any one-time only data set which doesn't need any change? Can you think about it? Can you think about something like that? Any example in your mind? Data which doesn't change. Anything in your mind? At least for a year. It's obviously like if you're thinking about financial data, it's gonna change for a year at least, but it will be constant for a year. User ID, roll numbers, okay, okay, good one. Let's stick to the statistical and factual data. Number plates, that's a good one. Number plates, good. This is very nice, very good, good tries. Train numbers, okay, that's also nice. Yes, absolutely. You're not going in the wrong direction. So all are good. So generally, the data which doesn't change, you don't want to change. Okay, you can use that in tuple. Clear? Flight numbers, very nice, very nice. You generally do not change that frequently. Of course, you change it, but not frequently. So you can definitely hold it. Cricket data, which one? Which cricket data you're talking about? Depends on that, right? Already happened data, yes. Okay, awesome, very nice. So you understood the concept. That is very important. So now we saw that how to arrange an element, okay, in an index and ordered fashion, how to get the how to remove the duplicacy of it with set, and how to handle the data which doesn't change. Okay, the next type of data set is basically when you have key value pair. When you have key value pair, what are the examples of key value pair? What is 04 data structure dictionary? Dictionary. So in Python, dictionaries are basically they have key value pairs. What's the difference between array, list, and set? I told you yesterday there is arrays are completely different. Okay, arrays are completely different. I lied to you that there is no array, it's list. Okay, and list and set. What is the difference? Who can tell me that? What is the difference between list and set? List is ordered and index. Set is unordered and unique. Okay, very important stuff. Arrays are different. Don't bother about arrays as of now. Okay, definitely bother it, but like we will discuss arrays are differently. Okay, why? See, these data structures in Python, set is not indexed. Okay, set is not indexed. Okay, set is unordered. It's not ordered at all. List is mutable. Tuple is immutable. Good one. Very nice. Very nice. Awesome. But list and set do not allow duplicates. You cannot. Okay, you will not get an ordered. So when you iterate through it, the order is not guaranteed. Order is not guaranteed at all. Okay, when you iterate through set. For list, if you iterate, you will always gonna get the same order. Okay, that's not the difference between. So now let's talk about key value pairs. What are the type of data I generally need for the key value? Key value. So like employee ID and employee object or employee details. Alright, student roll number and student name or mark sheet or degree program, whatever. See, they are attached to what? Some keys. So everything actually which we use, yeah, subject code and syllabus, car model ID and car. Okay, that RTO reference number you said, like the vehicle number that is attached to your vehicle. All those things have key value pair. Alright, key value pair, house number and house. Got it? So all these things key value pairs. So key value pairs, whenever you have a set of data which has key and a value, you use dictionaries. You use dictionaries. So now you have two different things as a single entity and collection of that entities. Okay, so key value pairs together. With that, it's like a map. It's like a table. To do this. So let's take that example too. So let's open dictionary. Dictionary is key value pairs. So dictionaries are written in curly braces again, and it's written like a JSON. Okay, how many of you know JSON? Okay, so it's written like a JSON. So let's take a sample dictionary. Sample dictionary, and you have curly braces. Now remember that even if there are curly braces, these are not sets. Okay, we have key value pair now. So now you define a key and the value. So let's take something. Let's take maybe car. So car maybe. So let's say car company. Company of a car, and then you say colon, it's Toyota. Okay, then you say model, you just say Camry. Okay, model is I think year, make is Camry. Model is basically when exactly it's created or made. So let's say you are talking about 2020 Camry. With that, and let's say you are asking for price also. So price, and this price is in millions. Oh, sorry, this price is in lakh. So 20 lakhs. Okay, I don't know the real price of it. That real price of it, but let's say 20 lakhs. Will be that. So that's 20. So or you can just say 20.5. So it doesn't matter what value it is. Why I'm adding these different numbers? Okay, because I'm just telling you that there can be any number of or any kind of data going in. There is no issue with that. So with this, so let's say one more. So for price after that you can add. Let's add. What else I can add here? Mm, and let's say features. I'll just make it complicated. Okay, I just wanted to make it complicated. So features, and in feature I have list. So let's say central lock. Okay, heated seats. Okay, then you have moon roof. All kind of awesome stuff. Okay, and let's add other cool stuff, doesn't matter. But you can see that I complicated the things, but these key value pairs like company is Toyota, make is Camry, model is something, price is something, feature is basically a key value is entire list. Values entire, that's possible. So dictionary can accommodate any kind of key and any kind of value. Could be that. So now let's work with dictionary. Let's work with dictionary. Okay, so let's get accessing the elements. How do you access elements in dictionary? So let's take that example. Let me print the entire dictionary first. So let's say sample dictionary and go ahead and run this code. See this. Center dictionary is printed. Now let's access an individual element. How can I do that? You can actually access sample dictionary and pass the key. So let's say I'm passing company. Pass the key. And what will happen? You will get Toyota. Got it? You get Toyota. That's one way. Now, can I add a new thing into the dictionary? Can I do that? So you know what? How simple it is. There is no add function or something. Not at all required. Okay, what you do? You just assign a new value. So what you do? You just go here and let's say what is the new key you want to add? Let's say engine, and engine is V8 engine, V8 diesel power. Okay, that's it. That's it. You said this sample dictionary engine is a new key and you are assigning a value to it. And if you print it now, print the sample dictionary now, what's going to happen? You will get that data added. Say this engine V8 power. So what if I add, what if I use this and use the existing key? What will happen? What will happen if I use existing key? So let's say for price, and I just wanted to correct the price. I will use 28.5. It's not 20, it's 28.5. So what's going to happen? This particular 20.5 will get replaced. Correct? So if the key exists, the value will be replaced. If the key is not there, the new value is added. It's that simple. How hard is that? Super simple, right? So see this, the price is updated. Cool with this? Is this clear? Now, how do I iterate through it? Now we got to know that how do you insert the data. Okay, we'll also learn about removing the data, but first iterate. So now we have three ways to access this, three ways to iterate through it. Okay, so let's learn all of them. So for each key, so first we'll get only keys in sample dictionary. So once you have just ask for sample dictionary or iterate through sample dictionary, you're gonna only get keys. Okay, each key you'll only get keys. So if I run this now, see this, you got company, make, model, price, feature, and engine. So how do I get a value now? How do I get the value? That's where we learn a new function. So sample dictionary, and if you want to get the value of it, you use get function. Okay, you can use this, no problem with that. You can use this also, but there is a new function I'm going to tell you. It's called as get, and in get function, if you pass the value, okay, you will get the value. So there are two ways to get the values. One is using direct giving the key or using the get function. Both the things works as it is. So let's run this and see. Now you got make Camry, model, all those things. This is one way of iterating through it. Okay, another way of iterating is key, comma, value in sample dictionary dot values. Sorry, sample dictionary dot entries. I forgot. Sample dictionary dot. I might have it here. Items. Yeah, sorry. Items. See, don't bother about like I should remember everything. No, you always have the things handy. And you know what? You already asked for key and value, so you don't have to ask for any method, get method or something. Nothing like that. It's gonna give it to you directly. So key and value. See this now. Run this again. So you get make Camry, model, all those things basically are output of this loop. Third way is let me access only values. So each value, I don't actually need key. I just need values. So I'll ask values only and I'll print values. So I told you three ways to access what dictionary. So one is you will get only keys, you get key values, and you will get values. Don't type anything, just focus here. Okay, I'll tell you when to ask questions. Okay, just hold your questions and let's run, and you're gonna get all these values. Cool with this? Clear? Okay, so go to the next topic is how do you remove the elements? How do you remove? So removal. Sample dictionary dot, and you have pop function here. Pop. There are two pop functions. First pop is with the key. So you pass key to it, and this particular key will be eliminated, deleted. Okay, and if I print sample dictionary now, this will be gone. And so now I don't have make. I have model and feature. I don't have make. Another pop function, we have something called as pop atom. Pop atom do not need any kind of key. It will remove last inserted element. Okay, run this and run. And see this. What was the last inserted thing? It was feature. So feature is gone. Feature is gone. Oh, sorry. We added one more here, right? Yeah. So this is last inserted, not this one. So last inserted is this. We added engine, right? So this engine is gone. Yes. So that is a feature of what? Pop items. What is the difference between pop and pop item? Pop, you need a key to remove the entry. Pop item will remove the last inserted entry. That's the entry. Okay. Awesome. Let's come back here. What are the things pending? Check exist. Okay, that is also same thing. You can check the existence of items in a dictionary. You can do that. So I'll give you one simple example here. That too for values. So what you can do is you can just check, okay, 2020 in sample dictionary dot values, and we'll print 2020 makes are available, and run. 2020 makes are available. You can also iterate through sample dictionary directly and ask for a key whether you are checking the features. Okay, so if features in sample dictionary, you don't ask for key here. We are checking features. No issues. So yes, we are checking features of the car. Good with this. And finally, what you have? Clear function, length function. Yeah, length. So print len function, sample dictionary. So you'll get a length of it. Okay. And clear function, clear will wipe out everything. So sample dictionary dot clear, and it's gonna clear everything. So if I print after that, the length will be 0. Now check that. So that is length is 0. So do that. You don't actually need to print clear function. It's not gonna give anything to you. Got it. Anything pending? Let's see. So you get function. I told you adding new iteration, check exist, remove, and length. And finally we saw clear also. Cool with that? Take a look at this, and the forum is open for questions if you have any. How does Python know what to get? For example, we used it in a loop, in a for loop. So how does Python know what to get? I didn't get that actually very clearly. So in here you are saying, okay, in for loop. So sample dictionary, it actually knows this is a dictionary, right? So when you are iterating to dictionary directly, then it will give you only keys. When you're iterating to items, it will give you both of it. And when you're iterating to values, you will actually get the values only. So you're actually specifying what exactly you're iterating through. Okay. So Python knows about it. Rather, you know about it. Forget about Python. Right? Awesome. I'm opening this, read this through, and let me know if you have any questions. Oops. Are of you getting it? Are you able to understand this? Yes or no? Just type. Let me know. Great. Great, great, great. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Sure, test. I'll ask questions. Okay. So let's do that. So suppose I have a list of, again, I'm again going back to some store examples. Okay, I'm very habitual of that. So like I am working for Tata, let's say, and I'm checking how many, or I'm fetching the list of Tata Star Bazaar stores in Maharashtra. Where do I keep that? What kind of information or what kind of collection I will use? All Tata Star Bazaar stores in Maharashtra. How can I keep it? How can I keep it? List is yesterday, Jayesh. We already covered in the list. We can keep it in list. Okay. Star Bazaar stores in Maharashtra. Set dictionary. Now I'll give you additional information, which will actually give you more details. So how I get the information is I get a store ID, okay, and area of the store. Now tell me, how do you think? Okay. Getting it? So more clear the data is, more clear the requirements are, more near you are to find out how exactly you want to store it. Yes or no? But if you are unclear, okay, and you did very right decision at that point. If you are unclear that okay, what's going on, I don't know. Maybe once you fetch it from the database, you get to know more about that data. But initially, you can definitely go for what? Definitely, you can go for list. The list is very like a generic type. Okay, you have elements added into an index. You have index available for iteration. It's already ordered. Doesn't matter whether it's duplicates or not. Doesn't matter. So you can keep the data as if it's like a collection of multiple objects together. So with that, so list is kind of safe. You do not have a clear idea about the data. Once you get more about it, okay. Once you think that okay, I need a data set which doesn't actually allow duplicates. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Now there is a question, a tricky question. Okay, think about it. If I am getting, if I am creating a collection of keys of a dictionary, what is the ideal collection of that? Okay, I'll write that question actually. I'll write that question. If I am creating a collection of keys, and this is interview question, okay, collection or data structure, collection of keys of a dictionary should be stored in what? Who can answer me that question and give me the reason also? What do you think? Tuple. Okay, I got two tuples. Collection of keys of dictionaries should be stored in. It should be in tuple. It shouldn't change. Okay. Tuple. These are index, not change. Why do you think that dictionary keys are not changing? You can add new keys, right? Dictionary. The keys of dictionary should be kept in dictionary only. Okay, so mind testing question. But now let's analyze the requirement. Okay, that's why these questions comes in interview. Okay, this is very important. Understand this. Such type of questions are being always asked in interview. Why? Think about this. What's going on here? You're saying company, make, model, price, feature. After that, this is something interesting I did here. I said price, okay, and give a new value. Does this particular statement added a new key value pair or updated the existing one? Updated the existing one, right? So it's not adding a new key. So if the key is absolutely new, only then it's get added. If it is existing, then updated. What kind of collection give me that feature? What kind of collection give me that feature that new things will be added, but the existing won't? Which one will give me that? Nobody? Think about it. No, no. When you collect the keys into a single collection, it's gonna be a set. Think about it. It will be always set. You cannot have duplicate keys, can you? You cannot have it. How can you add a duplicate key in a dictionary? Now you get it? Questions? Now you get it? You cannot add it. Try to add a duplicate key. How do you do that? You will add with the help of what? You will assign same key with a different value. Will that work? No, it will update the value, right? So your key remains same. So keys of the dictionary are always what? Unique keys of the dictionary. That's why this is a tricky interview question. Got it right? This is very, very important. This kind of questions will definitely come there. All of you with me? All of you understood? Great. That's awesome thing, right? Okay, cool. Okay, this a magical things happens. So this is what is the data structure. So we saw four types of data structures. List is ordered and index, set, unique, tuple, unchangeable, dictionary, key value pair. Okay. Now I'll ask another question to you, and now you think and you give me a right answer. Okay. What if I want to keep only values of dictionary? Only values of dictionary, okay, into another data structure. What should I use? Only values. Think about it now. Do you want to write? I'll do that. So this answer of this question was set. Right. Now the new question is collection of values. If you are grabbing the values of dictionary should be stored in just values. Dictionary need key value pair. I just have values. Where should I put it? Yes, you're actually going to the right direction. You're going in the right direction. You're absolutely right. You have no other choice. It's list. It's list because values can be duplicate. Okay, nobody told you that values cannot. Yes, definitely you can have like different things like make is 2020 and release date is 2020 and color date is 2020. All those values are 2020. So there is no problem with that. Correct? So when you are collecting the values, it will be list. When you are collecting keys, it has to be set. Well, with this, very common and important interview questions we have covered. Awesome. Now today for the last topic, we are going to cover very important stuff called as functions. So I will give you an introduction to the functions and then we will stop and tomorrow we'll take a deep dive into it. Not tomorrow. Tomorrow we don't have class. So function test. Okay. So what is a function? What is a function? Let's take a deep dive into it. So everybody knows a toaster, right? Everybody knows a toaster. How do you do that? So how do you make a toast, right? So what happens here? You have bread. Okay, let's draw that. You have a simple bread, and there is a toaster, a machine, okay, which takes your bread. Basically, it has a knob here. Okay, you put your bread into it, and you get toast out of it. Correct? You get toast, and this is bread. Correct? So the whatever happens here is called as function or method. I'll prove my point. Hold on. Both the words are same. Functions or methods. So function is defined as a reusable block of code. Reusable block of code, which are called on input. So there is some input. There is some input to it. That input can be implicit or explicit. That means either it is acting on an external input provided or it is acting on the internal inputs available. ओके इट डजंट मैटर उसके पास इनपुट होगा या उसको हम इनपुट भेजेंगे doesn't matter but it's gonna act on input. Okay, and it's gonna generate an output, so either it will be returned back to the customer like you, so you get a toast out of it, or it will be some implicit reflection. That means something gonna happen, like you store that into a database, okay, or keep it in a file system or send it as an email. Something gonna happen, but it will be a update in the update to the data. Got it? So output again can be implicit or explicit, doesn't matter. But this is a reusable block of code. So this is what is happening here. The toaster is a function. What exactly happening now? You are taking bread into the toaster. Now, is it the only thing it actually acting on? No, there are other parameters to it, right? There are other parameters like you are using electricity, right? So it has its own logic. You are using heating coils, you are using timer, okay, holder, okay, pop-up spring. You never ever thought about these things exist in that thing, right? But all those things exist, and you get a toast out of it. Yes or no? So you all this logic which is there, which is available, okay, that is a function, okay, which acts on what input and generates what an output. Cool with this? So function, and does it work for only one bread? Doesn't matter, right? How many breads you have? You have 600 breads. Call those, put that in here one by one, and you will get a same output toast. Okay, so that's why it's called as what reusable. It's reusable block of code. So now, how do you define a reusable block of code though in Python, and how can you use that? So every programming language has certain kind of features like that, like functions, methods, subroutines, all those things. So we in Python we call it as functions and methods. Cool. So how do you write a function? So you define a function in Python with the help of def. So define, okay, and after that there is a, so let's write the syntax first, and then write a function. So function that is define, and then you have function name, function underscore name, and then you have parenthesis where you provide input, okay, which are optional inputs. Okay, then you have colon. Colon means this is where the boundary starts, and indented block of code, okay, which will actually provide a reusable functionality. Okay, and again you have return, which is optional. You don't have to return anything. It can be a database insert. It can be a file written to the function, something like that. So, or it can just a print maybe. Okay, so this is a definition of a standard function. So def function name, you have optional inputs, then you have block of code which is reusable, and if necessary, you will provide an output. Cool. So let's write without optional input or without optional output. We will just write a simple function which will say hello to us. So let's write say hello function. It does nothing. Parenthesis, no inputs, colon, and we're gonna say print hello. That's it. Okay. Of course, you need. I forgot that. When you know multiple programming languages, confusing sometimes. And now how do you call this? How do you call the function? So calling a function is just like saying the name. How somebody call you? Okay, they don't give an entire address, right? They just call your name. So similarly, when you define the function, call the name. So call the name, say hello, and it will be called. And it will be called. And no matter how many times you call it, that many times it will be called for you. That's why it's called as reusable. So run this now, and you're gonna get three hellos. Hello, 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 because you are saying three times hello. Got it? That is function. So function is nothing but def, function name, input, and a block of code which you have to execute. Now, can I pass an input to it? Go ahead and pass it. So you just say name. So now I have to pass the name. So let's delete this, guys. And here I am passing the name, David. Okay. Now what do you do with that name? So let's say hello to him. Hello name. Could be that. So that's a parameter I'm taking, and I'm actually using that parameter right here. So let's run this method now. And it says hello David because you passed David. Got it? So that's the parameter. That's also called as argument. So argument, parameter, input, all these things are same. So argument, parameter, input, okay, all the same. So with that, all the same. But that actually removes the liberty of calling the function without a parameter, because I cannot do that anymore because this function has a parameter now. So if I run this, it says, okay, say hello, missing one positional argument name. So you have to pass the name. I don't want this kind of stuff. So if that particular name doesn't exist, use some default. Use some default, like say hello to user. Can I do that? Yes, you can. You just say equals to user. So what will happen if you don't pass the name? Okay, if you don't pass the name, it will use user. And if you pass the name, it will use whatever you pass. Is it though? Can I prove it? Yeah. Hello user. So when you pass David, David is printed. When you don't pass David, user is printed. So this is default parameter. Okay, so providing a default value. Okay, you can provide a default value to the function or method, sorry, parameter or input with the help of this equals to and the parameter value. And you can use any kind of any number of parameters. There is no restriction on number of parameters to the method. You can use any type of parameter. Okay, any type is allowed, no problem with that. And you don't have to specify the type in advance. It's completely okay to just randomly pass the parameters. Python is like that. It's amazing. Okay, so let's add some more values. Let's say you are adding pin code. Okay, and just say pin code here. Yeah, that's also a problem. If you are not passing the default, then that's a problem. Okay, anyway, I'll tell you that in tomorrow's class. But yes, let's say 444505, some numbers. Okay, so that's a pin code. And now how do you pass it? You pass one, you pass 1110000. Okay, and next one you don't pass it. Okay, so go ahead and run the function test. So you're gonna get David with this value, user with this value. Default parameters. Cool with that? So that's the parameters for you. Now here we stop our discussion because after that it gets complicated. But do we have any questions? After that we're gonna learn like how do we pass multiple parameters. Okay, can I pass a parameter but I don't actually declare it? Yes, that can be done. There are amazing stuff you can do with methods. Okay, so that we're gonna anyway learn on Monday. So tomorrow we don't have class. Sunday we don't have class. Saturday, Sunday is holiday. Monday we'll come back and we'll start on the same time at 5 o'clock. Cool with this? So we'll repeat the function and we'll actually take a deep dive because Python functions are awesome. Python treats function and methods as a first class. Okay. Onlinepython.com. If you want to practice, you can practice right here. You don't actually need any IDE. Okay, you can practice right here. Online Python, and you can literally write the code. Say def say underscore hello, okay, and then define the function print and just say hello and run and call the function say hello, run, and it's gonna give you hello. Simple as that. So you don't need any IDE. You can do that online. That is onlinepython.com. Okay. It's very good for small functions, although it's not useful for me, but it's fine. Like for initial learning, it's very useful. Cool with that? So you can practice here. You can practice on HackerRank. Yes, you can do that. Okay, and I will give you an assignment. Okay, so thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good one. Bye bye.